Okay, you're gonna hit that on the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Call the meeting to order.
I call the meeting to order.
Please rise for a moment of silence.
Please rise for a moment of silence for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hey, before we get started, I will have the public notice read by my executive assistant, Barbara Lopez.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivera. Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used, Teams Q&A, and Facebook and YouTube. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. Before we get started, just want to let everyone know that Commissioner Leinbach is joining us online virtually. He had knee replacement surgery a couple weeks ago, so he's not able to be here in person, but he is joining us online. Before we get started today, I'd like to welcome special guests. I think this may be the one time in the year that we have standing room only at our board meeting. We actually had to put extra chairs here. And I'm hoping it's because the employees that are here felt that this was the most important place for their sons to be here, rather than their department heads telling them that they had to be here. Because this is where they're going to see how county government gets run. But welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here this morning. It actually falls in line great with County Awareness Month, learning about what counties do and how it gets done. So welcome. For the kids that are here, I want you to understand that your parents do great jobs. The jobs that they do every day affect about 430,000 people, including your neighbors and families and friends. So if you have a chance, thank them for what they do. I know some of them may have to leave early or come home late or work long hours, but it's because they have an important job to do. So to everyone, make sure you tell your parents, thank you for the work that you do for the county and for our citizens, all right? So thank you for being here today. I'd also like to introduce another special guest that we have here, and we have Cammie. And Cammie is a therapy dog for the Children Alliance Center of Berks County. And Cammie is here with Amy, who is I guess Cammie's owner or handles Cammie. So Amy, do you want to come up and get Cammie's laying there now? So we'll get her up and we'll bring Cammie up front here. Cammie is very, very child friendly. She loves children. So after the meeting, if Cammie's still around, please feel free to go up and pet Cammie. She loves children. So Amy, do you want to share anything about Cammie? I'm sorry, Amy, sorry, here. Yep.
So we've had Cammie for about a year now. She mostly is in my office, so we're working with child abuse victims. So the younger they are, the more lovable she is to them. She's a great asset to our office, to all the clients that we see. She waits with victims when they're waiting to testify for court, which is, very stressful time for a lot of people. So she's there to help them through that. And she's also there to help our staff when we're dealing with a lot of difficult cases.
I think Cammie as well also is a good therapy for Mike Gumbar, the detective chief.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here. Cami is here because we had people this morning here. We are recognizing April 30th as the National Therapy Animal Day. So we have Cami here for that to celebrate here with us. So if you have a chance, I don't know if, Amy, will you be here for the whole meeting? Okay, so Cami will be here afterwards. If you have a chance, come up and greet Cami. She'll be happy to say hi to you, maybe lick your hand a little bit and play around with you, okay? Thank you very much. Cami, she's following the treats there. Cami's treats are Oreo, so you need to follow Cami's example of having healthy treats. Cheerios. Oh, I'm sorry, Cheerios. What did I think? Oreos.
Probably most Oreos.
So we're giving her a healthy treat with or Cheerios. Okay. All right. So moving along, we'll continue with the approval. Oh, I'm sorry. We have three more guests here that I'd like to introduce. To my left here, I have Alec Grill. Alec is the son of Anne Marie Grill. Anne Marie is Commissioner Linebach's executive assistant, so he's joining me here. He led the Pledge of Allegiance this morning. Then here to my right, I have Hazel Paris. Hazel is the daughter of David Paris, who works in our solicitor's office. And then at the end there is Jacob Paris, and Jacob is also the son of David Paris, and they're joining us here this morning for the meeting. So they're going to try to keep us in line here and moving the meeting forward. All right. Okay, so moving along to the approval of minutes, are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? If none, the minutes stand approved as presented. Next item is the public comment on agenda items. Are there any comments on agenda items? None in person, none online. Okay. Moving into the agenda, we did have an executive session yesterday, which was on personnel and contract negotiations. Just for those that are here that don't know what an executive session is, anything that the Board of Commissioner discusses, unless it falls into 5 categories, has to be in an open meeting like this one. As executive sessions, we can talk about things that have to do with personnel, real estate, contract negotiations, safety, and what's the 5th one? And litigation. So if there's one of those 5 items that we have to talk about because it cannot be discussed in public, by law, we're able to meet together, just the 3 commissioners and our senior staff, to discuss that. If it's not in any of those 5 categories, then it all needs to be discussed in a public meeting like this one. Okay, moving on to the agenda items. Under the budget, item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the 2023 budget transfers in the amount of $31,839 and 2024 appropriations in the amount of $1,211,643 per listing dated April 19, 2024. Under Human Resources, we have 4 items. We have item 1, authorize the appointment of John Bellis to printing mailroom manager in the printing mailroom effective May 6th of 2024. This is in replacement for Steve Skoll, who will retiring after over 30 years with the county. So I want to just take the opportunity to thank Steve for his work here at the county. Item number 2 is authorize the appointment of Madeline Brown to full-time registered nurse supervisor, 2nd shift at the Berks Heim, effective 5/15. Item 3 is authorize the appointment of Jane Shields to part-time registered nurse supervisor, 2nd shift, Berks Heim, effective 5/15. And item number 4 is authorize the promotion of Franco Tassone Jr. from Director of Kitchen and Warehouse Operations to Deputy Warden of Operations, Jail System, effective May 15 of 2024. Under Commissioner Rivera, we have adopt a resolution authorizing the appointment of Andrea McHenry of Reading, Pennsylvania to the Berks County Children and Youth Services Advisory Board for a term expiring December 31 of 2024. Under the Commissioners, item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the Vice Chair to execute the United States Department of Agriculture Lease Amendment Number 2 between the County of Berks and the United States Department of Agriculture, amending the original lease to memorialize post-award construction change order. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the vice chair to execute an agreement between the County of Berks and the Berks County Detective Organization to resolve a March 22, 2024 grievance. Item C, adopt a resolution authorizing a letter of support for the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation's grant application to the U.S. Department of Transportation to reconstruct and widen 5 miles of US 422 West Shore bypass. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing Timothy Smith, Chief Information Officer, to execute the SHI International Corp. Change request form concerning file formats as part of the county storage virtualization project. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing the vice chair to execute the pass-through agreement between Safe Berks Reading and the County of Berks on behalf of the District Attorney's Office for the transfer of sufficient funds from the Berks County Stop Team 25 to 2027 grant application being filed by Safe Berks. And item F is adopt a resolution authorizing the vice chair to execute the amendment of solicitation/modification of contract from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to de-obligate excess funds and close out the contract for fiscal year 2022. Item 2 is a motion to authorize execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on the contract agenda listing dated April 22nd of 2024. There is a contract, one for the Department of Assessment, one for CareerLink, 2 for Children and Youth Services, 1 for the Commissioners, 1 for the Coroner, 1 for Information Systems, 1 for the Library Systems, and 1 for the Sheriff's Office. Item number 3 is a motion to authorize execution of payments and electronic transfers for the week ending April 25 of 2024. And item 4 is a motion to authorize execution of the first quarter of 2024 local earned income tax and local service tax dated April 25 of 2024.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda items as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Any comments on the motion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, moving on to the reports of the treasurer and the controller. And what I will ask, Mr. Treasurer and Controller, if in 30 seconds to a minute, you can let the people here know what your job is here at the county before you give your report.
Very well, thank you. My name is Mitchell Darcourt. I'm the treasurer of Berks County. And what we do is make sure all the checks are taken care of and balances. We collect the taxes for the city of Reading. We distribute dog licenses and hunting licenses and fishing licenses for the county and for the state. And we also keep the budget, which I will be going over in a couple seconds here. Okay. And as that, we have an opening balance of $217,837,837.82. We have a balance to clear of $4,165,148.03, leaving us with a balance of $213,712,689.79. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Controller?
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Joe Ruttero. I'm your county controller in the county controller's office. We do auditing. We audit different departments within the county. We also prepare the financial statements, and we also pay the bills. So we do accounts payable. And our team is always very busy this time of year since we have a deadline of June 30th for those financial reports. And we always appreciate the cooperation of everyone in the county and getting us the information we need on a timely basis. For my report today, for the week ending April 25th, 2024, we have an accounts payable of $11,339,101.19. We have a payroll of $5,223,919.02 for a total cash disbursement of $16,563,020.21. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, moving on to the report of the Chief Operations Officer. And before he does this report, I'll also ask Kevin to, in a nutshell, explain what he does and also introduce his team.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivera. So welcome to Take Your Daughters and Sons to Work Day. It's really always a pleasure every year to see the room full of anxious and excited kids and your parents as well. So what we do here, our Chief Operations team consists of myself. Larry's my partner. Jessie Blauser works with us. She's our executive assistant. Jonathan Heitzman is our public relations officer. Carmen Torres is our chief clerk and right to know officer. And Brittany Frankowski also supports us in executive capacity. And I think she's probably on the screen this morning. We really work closely with the Board of Commissioners, the elected board, as well as our budget and finance team to work with the budget, work with the human resource director and her team on employment opportunities and for promotions and things of that nature. And our legal department headed by Christine Sadler. We're working a lot of work with her and engage with her on a lot of legal matters. And we also have about 24 plus departments, from the jail to the nursing home, election services, purchasing, planning on down the line, parks department, library system, that report to Larry and I and our team. And we stay in constant contact with them, whether it's personnel related or budgetary things or just issues they're facing, and really work with them on their evaluations and keep things rolling along here. So operations is we keep things moving along here at the county. We also work with the courts and the row officers, which you've met two of them this morning, the treasurer and the controller. So we work closely with them working on special projects. I would like to first off commend Steve Skull for his 36 and a half plus years as our print shop and mailroom manager. We think he's done an amazing job, saved this county countless millions of dollars over his long career. And we welcome John Bellis, who will be replacing him. And we appreciate the ability to overlap for a couple weeks as Steve transitions out and John transitions in. There's an awful lot to learn in that department in a few short weeks. We also want to commend election services. Very successful election on Tuesday, and all the staff that worked alongside of them. We had probably 120 additional county employees that supported elections. All the poll workers, which number about 1,200 people out at the 202 polls, and everyone who came together in the spirit of democracy and really worked on a great election. We're looking forward to November and gearing up for that as well. So with that, that's all we have, and I'll turn it back to Commissioner Rivera.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. We'll move on now to the commissioner's comments. But before we go to the comments, I'd like to introduce the commissioner's team. We have Lynn Burns here at the corner. Lynn, raise your hand. Lynn is the executive assistant for Commissioner Santoni. Next to her, we have Anne Marie Grill, who is executive assistant to Commissioner Leinbach. And next to her, we have Barbara Lopez, who is my executive assistant. Also, as part of the commissioner senior team, we have Jessica Weeknick, who is our director of, well, what's the correct title? Chief Human Resources Officer. So Jessica, raise your hand there. And also here to my right, we have Christine Sadler, who is our solicitor, and she's the one who keeps us out of legal trouble. Tries to, she said. Okay, so we're very blessed here with a great team, which allows us to do the work that we do. Without them, we would not be able to do the work that we do, together with all the other employees that we have here sitting in this meeting. So thank you again for being here. We'll get started with the commissioner's comments, and we have Commissioner Leinbach online, so we will start with him. Commissioner Leinbach.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera. I really appreciate all the work that our department heads and staff do, and great to see, albeit at distance, so many of you showing up for the commissioners meeting. I hope that this is an enjoyable day, not just for you, but for your sons and daughters that are able to join you. I also want to wish my best for Steve Skull in his retirement. Steve has been one of our really solid department heads. I talked to him briefly, but through the years, I cannot remember any particular challenges that we had in that department other than Steve taking on needs that we had and resolving many of those needs within his department. So Steve, you'll be missed, and we wish you the very best. I'm sure John will do a great job in your stead. Also want to congratulate our elections staff, a very good election. I think based on the feedback I'm receiving, very smooth primary election, a precursor to the more challenging, larger turnout that will likely occur in the fall. But thank you very much to our staff, for our county employees that stepped up to work the day of the election, for the roughly 1,200 individuals working the polls on election day. But I also want to recognize some of our internal staff, the solicitor's office, the COO team, our executive assistants, who were very engaged, very involved on election day, there to respond to any needs or issues. Often that group is the group behind the scenes. And then finally, I am hopeful that I'll be back in the office sometime next week. Looking forward to getting back there and working with a fabulous team. I actually miss working with Commissioner Rivera and Commissioner Santoni, as hard as that might be to believe. It's better to work with people when you're in the same room. It's just so much easier. So I'm looking forward to getting back there. And then finally, I want to thank Anne Marie Grill. Anne Marie is the one that's kept things running in the office in my absence, and I really appreciate having her on the team. That's all that I have. Commissioner Rivera, back to you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Leinbach. I was going to say that Anne Marie keeps the office running even when you're here, but I won't say that. But so
you just did.
Commissioner Santoni.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Rivera. Good morning, everybody. It's great to see all your lovely faces on National Take Your Daughters and Sons to Work Day. You know, when this first started, that day was just Take Your Daughters to Work Day, and that's when my kids were younger, but it expanded to include the guys, so we're glad that they changed that. So we welcome you. We hope maybe there's a couple controllers or treasurers or commissioners or maybe even a couple judges out in the audience. When you get older, you can run for office. So we look forward to your participation. So thank you for coming. I'll be repeating a couple of things that Commissioner Leinbach said because I think it's important. I also want to recognize and thank Amy and Cammie for coming on National Therapy Pet Day, being April 30th. We recognize that at our meeting today. So we thank you and all the great work that the therapy dogs do for our communities. Again, commending last Tuesday was Election Day. We really, really have a great team that did a lot of great work. They have a lot of challenges, and as it was stated earlier, November will be more voters and more challenges, but they did a terrific job, and we'll be ready for that come November. So thank you. Thank that team for that as well. I've only been here since January, so I didn't get to know Steve Skull as well, but I would like to commend him and thank him for his time here at the county and wish him the best in his retirement. A couple of events that I attended that I want to report on that I think are important. Some people will recognize. We went to an event at 11th and Richmond. There was a mural called The Journey in honor of Alcohol Awareness Month, which is April. Yvonne Stroman, a community leader, was honored in her journey back from some of the challenges that she had. I know Commissioner Rivera was there. He chairs that SOS committee. So I want to thank them and commend Yvonne Stroman for stepping up and doing the good things that she's doing. Another community leader, Pat Giles, was honored at the United Way of Berks County dinner, which occurred this past week. Excuse me. with the 2024 Duran Volunteer Award recipient, which is their top award. So Pat Giles, I know a lot of people in the county know her, and I want to commend her. And Commissioner Rivera and I attended an event. Monday was Earth Day, April the 22nd, very important day for our environment and our community. And the Saturday before at our parks, led by Kathy Wagner and Brendan Lederer, we had Alvernia students come in, 2 busloads of them, along with President Fitzgerald. We had a little ceremony, and then we planted a tree, and then the students were directed around the parks to plant more trees and to do some cleanup at the facility. So it was really an honor and a privilege to be at that event. And my final comment before Hazel gavels me out is, I know this is going to be hard to believe, but I miss Commissioner Leinbach as well as him missing me. So I can't believe that. I actually said that out loud, Mr. Chairman. So thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Santoni. I have a few brief remarks. I have some things that were mentioned, so I won't go over the events that we had, but a few other events that I had the opportunity to attend on Saturday, apart from the Earth Day of Service at the Heritage Center, there were students from Cornell University doing volunteer work at the Colebrookdale Railroad. They were here for a weekend of service. It was a great chance to go meet the students there. There were students from Peru and from China, as well as from different parts of the United States also that are studying at Cornell and spent the weekend in the Boyertown area working at the Colebrookdale Railroad. Also, that same Saturday evening was the annual Boyertown Area Citizens of the Year Award event, in which Ken Hunt was named the Boyertown Area Citizen of the Year. So congratulations to Ken, a huge asset to the Boyertown area. Also, I want to mention this Saturday, the 27th, is the 2024 Prescription Drug Take Back event, and that will be from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the First Energy Stadium. If you have any prescription drugs that are expired that you got and did not finish them, you're not using them, don't keep them laying around. Don't flush them down the toilet, and don't throw them in a landfill. It has negative effects on our environment. This event on Saturday is put together by the Berks County Medical Society in partnership with the Berks County District Attorney's Office, the Reading Fighting Phils, and SOS Berks. And you go there, no questions asked. You take the expired or unused prescription drugs there, and they are disposed of properly and safely. The only thing about keeping them at your house is, apart from the fact that you don't want to dispose of them improperly, having drugs around that aren't used can also be detriment to someone that may have an addiction and may go in, see those drugs there, and have easy access to them. So let's be cognizant about that and get rid of these drugs that we don't need and help reduce the opioids and other epidemics as well. And that is this Saturday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the First Energy Stadium. And my last item, I want to thank the Election Services Department staff for the great work they did on Tuesday. It's important to understand Election Day for most of us is one day in the spring and one day in November. For the Elections Department, Election Day is every day because they have to prepare. So you prepare before elections, you have the elections, then their job isn't still done. They have to go through all the processes. They have to certify the elections. And by that time, they're getting ready to start working on the November elections already. So for them, it's a year round. They do an amazing job. They're dedicated. For those of you that don't know, the 2 weeks before the elections, they have overtime. Many of them work 10, 12 hours a day, come in on weekends as well. On election day, I came in at 6:15 in the morning, and all of them were already here. And many of them were here till 1:30 or 2:30 in the morning on Wednesday morning. So very long day for them, very dedicated staff, and I want to thank them for the work that they do to make sure that we have safe, secure, and accessible elections here in Berks County. Also want to thank the different departments that work back office for the elections. We have DES, the Department of Emergency Services. We have Information Services. We have the Facilities Department, who moves the equipment to and from the polling locations before the elections, pick them up after elections. We have GIS. So I see Brad is here with us. as well. He was there all day as well, making sure, working with the rovers that were out, making sure everything was working fine, helping get situations resolved. And also our solicitor's office, we have Cody, who's our deputy solicitor, is back there. Cody, raise your hand. Cody was here all day taking calls, as well as Christine. And as Kevin had mentioned, we had about 120 other staff, county staff, work on Election Day. So thank you very much to everyone who played their part on making sure that we had a great Election Day here in Berks County. And we are looking forward to the same thing in November. That is all I have. And we'll move on to row officers' comments. Any comments from our row officers?
I don't have anything to add, Commissioner.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, sure. Welcome, everyone. And it's great to see that you're here with mom and dad and checking out what they do day in and day out. I'm the father of 6 children, although I didn't bring any. They're scattered around. My oldest son lives in Arizona. I have a son in Texas. I have a son in Kutztown. I guess I could have brought him. A son at home and 2 daughters that are is in Westchester and the other one lives in Hoboken. But I'm sure if they were a little bit younger, they would have certainly wanted to be here. And I hope you guys enjoy your day and enjoy watching and learning what county government does.
Okay. Thank you. Any other row officers? Nope. Okay. Moving along, is there any public comment in person or online? No public comment in person or online? Okay, if we have no public comment, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay,
Meeting stands adjourned.
okay, thank you very much.